Hello, space fans. It's Greg Allison with Galactic Greg. It's coming to you on the wee hours of Thursday morning, the 8th of December, 22. Time on deck is 01:3700 hours. How is everyone? We're going to talk about lunar landers, and we're going to go through a little bit of news here, including some space weather toward the end. So hang on. I hope people watched my earlier video today about the 50th anniversary of the launch of Apollo 17. 50 years ago, right now, 3 men were on the way to the moon in Apollo 17. I just covered another video. Watch it and see. I am going to try to get my video over here set so I can watch you guys in the chat session from right here. Granny, good to see you. Got 11 in the room. All the Sun, thank you. LS 420 Stoner, Frozen, John Long. Thank you, John, for following me through a couple of switches here. All right. Got a switch how I'm signed in over here. And we're going to scroll down. What's that? There it is. All right. Set my channel. Yeah, excuse me, guys. It takes a few jumps to get everything the way I want it. There it is. Click on that, and I'll watch out here. Good. Greg, I want to let you know that I sent you an email. Okay, LS Stoner. When did you send the email? I'm getting a fair number of emails from folks. I can look at email right here in a second. Where I assume you sent it to the Green Regs channel. Ah, I got it. You mind me saying their name? I got it. Baumgartner, are you kidding me? I don't see your first name. Are you related to the guy that jumped out of the balloon? Where's your name? Well, sir, didn't want to give this information. Oh, okay. Yeah, I ain't gonna give you I won't give your 1020 away. Very good. Appreciate it, guy. All righty. Sorry for jumping out there with you. Okay, I see you got a couple different names there anyway. All right. Very good. Got it. Lost in Space. Hey, that's a good name. I was 7 years old when that happened. I remember watching on TV. I can remember when I was like 2 years old. I can remember a little bit of the Mercury, just a little bit. I remember those Gemini missions. Those always come on Saturday mornings to interrupt my cartoons. But I got hooked on Apollo. Oh my God, I watched every Apollo mission. Hey, Greg, the Aussies are watching from down under. Hey, Pioneer One. You say I went in windy to Australia earlier, Pioneer One? April, hit delete on what? Sapphire Isle. I will go back and watch it later. There you go. You got to sleep eventually. I hear you. Yeah, that makes 3 of us or more. All righty, guys. Yeah, I didn't get much sleep last night, so it's going to be a limitation as to how far I can go right here. But how do I want to start this video? So let's start talking about lunar landers. Should have started this right up front because people chime in these videos. Once you're talking on topic really fast, and I've kind of did it around here. Sorry about that, guys. So in the previous video I posted, I raised the questions of which lander is going to the moon first. NASA has contracted and put a lot of money into a Starship lander landing on the moon. And the reason they want Starship is price and payload capacity. The Starship can come in supposedly really cheap, and if everything works, it will deliver an enormous payload to the moon. Very large scale payloads. I mean, that's what Starship was designed for, is to take large scale payloads to Mars. Now, I did a video with Bob Zubrin over a year ago on this channel. You can check it out. I know Bob Zubrin. He and I have both served as the chairman of the executive committee of the National Space Society, which is the National Space Society CEO's position. It used to be. Now they've broken it all out and make that clear. Now they actually do have an official CEO. With the one night we were there, that was the CEO position of the National Space Society. Bob Zuber and I have held the same position in that organization. Now, Bob and I know each other quite well from way back, and we got a lot of respect for each other. We've also been together in several other organizations, including this United Societies of Space. I had joined this Mars Society, and I need to re-up for that. Greg, did you see some footage of the China's launch? Which Chinese launches? They've been doing a lot of launches. China is really coming along fast, a lot of stuff, guys. I remember that movie and TV series, Lost in Space. Yeah, I like the theme music. Squirrel Sniper, watching TV program. Hey, that's a good handle. So, problem is now the Starship has two issues that Bob Zubrin thinks makes it unsuitable for landing on the moon or Mars, at least for initial landing, because both the moon and Mars have deep layers in most places of regolith, which is just pulverized rock. Pulverized rock, and it goes deep. So when that rocket motor is coming in and you're burning these rockets, it's throwing this stuff out. It's ejecting it everywhere. Well, the Starship motors are very powerful. It's got those Raptor engines in it. They're so powerful. This thing is so heavy. It's got to have a high thrust to slow it down, especially when it's loaded. So he thinks it's going to dig a crater as it's trying to land the engines, a little crater, and it just should take mid-rocket sections and set for habitation. Yeah, that's one idea, especially if they leave any of these up there. But so there's two problems that blowing a crater. One is itty bitty landing legs, right? Kind of like the Tyrannosaurus forearms. Yeah, if you remember our lunar lander, they had ginormous legs that stood out. Yeah, Elon, you need to think about the legs. That might be fine on your concrete pads. Oh yeah, Elon, what Bob Zubrin says you need on the moon and Mars is a concrete pad, so you don't blow a crater out when you're landing. Problem with having a concrete pad at your landing site is somebody else has got to land there before you and put in the concrete pad. And that, my friends, is why I'm saying Starship might not be the first lander or the next lander to land on the moon. Now, Bob is in favor of a 1/3 scale Starship, which he thinks would do the job. Will Elon do that, or will they or that's a whole new development? He needs something like it even on Mars, because on Mars he's got the same issue, unless he hits some other thing up and some other landing method and has robots roll out and put in a pad for him. That don't land too, by the way, probably. But so, and here's the other issue. Well, the Starship is long and tall. The CG is way up here somewhere. So you land on the moon and you're blowing a crater out and you're tilting a little bit when you land. It'd be a bad day. That's what happened to the DCX rocket on its last landing. The DCX flew several times, like Starship, way before Starship, way before Elon Musk, way before Jeff Bezos did it. It was done by the DCX rocket. The DCX rocket was built in Huntington Beach at Boca Chica plant. Been there many times. And the project manager was, I know him. Well, he's dead now. I knew him real well. Bill Gallbatz. Bill Gallbatz was the project manager. There's no script here, guys. I'm trying to pull the stuff out of my head. Bill Gallbatz used to send me a Christmas card every year. Reason being, if you go the Wayback Machine, you can still find the DCX Hall of Fame. My name is at the top of the list, by the way, because I helped sell that program. I lobbied the Defense Department to create that under the Single Stage Rocket Technology Project. SSRT is what the project was called. Jess Spottable was the Air Force sponsor for that. And the guy who wound up being the pilot, the test pilot, they flew it autonomous, with a joystick, when nobody was on board. It was shoot. I'm getting brain lock here. You ever think somebody else's name pops in your head? I did a video on it. I did a special video. I hate somebody else's names popping in my head. It's somebody help me out. Maybe you know the answer to this. I know the answer. If oh my God, I talked to him. Oh, I was going to get his signatures on this thing. And now I'm getting brain lock, guys. It was I've done a video on my Galactic Chris channel. I talked about it. A special video on this guy. Very short astronaut who was full of life, and everybody loved him. Problem is, another guy's name has popped in my head, and don't worry. You get somebody, you try to think about something, somebody else's name pops in, and you just can't get it out. All right, guys, help me out. Somebody's got to be. Somebody knows this. Yeah, get rid of these people. Thank you, all the sun, for taking care of that. Well, shoot, what is wrong with me? Yeah, I'm being brain lock a lot lately. Maybe it's just not enough sleep. Maybe a result of having had the cerveza bug. I don't know, guys. It's happened to me a lot more lately. Like I said, I'm not scripted here. There's no script. You'll find him in my videos where I talk about him. They'll come to me later. Shoot, I'm just got brain lock right now. But anyway, one of the Apollo astronauts was the joystick pilot on this. I actually called and talked to him, and he was all excited. He said, "Hey, Jess, come here. Guess who? We got to find. This guy's got the D6 rocket in his backyard." He was all excited. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of his name? Hey, and I've had the granddaughter of Rusa, the astronaut Rusa, on my channel too. So go to VA. No, I'm not going to VA, April. Shoot, I'm not that bad, I don't think. But anyway, so what we were talking about is landing. That rocket that's in my backyard, what's left of it's Intertank and Avionics Bay, the D6 rocket. There was a technician who did not follow the procedures and properly, and when it did its last flight, and one of the legs didn't deploy. Little legs at the bottom, and what did it do? Plonk, and it exploded and burnt. Well, we don't want that to happen with cargo or crew on the moon, especially with the first landing of a lander on the moon. When it goes thunk, it needs to stick it. Not, they come in pretty good. Thunk. It's about the way most of that stuff lands. Thunk. Well, you don't want to go thunk, plunk. That's not what we want to see. So if you're blasting a crater out from your propulsion and you're top heavy and you land and you got itty bitty legs, thunk, that's what's happening. So there needs to be some thinking about that. Hey, Senior Lou, thank you for the compliment. Thank you for the compliment. So, Pete Conrad. Whew, took me a minute. Pete Conrad was the guy I was trying to think of. I got Charlie Duke and Alan Beam mixed up earlier on my previous video. So I'm getting bad about that lately. And this brain lock's beginning to really plague me lately. I'm not scripted, guys. So I had Charlie Duke and Alan Bean mixed and Alan Shepard. See, these names are similar. Start crossing in my mind, guys. I'm sorry. 62, and I had the curved bug. And apparently it's not much sleep and a lot of stress lately. I've been under a lot of stress. Been a lot of overtime work. So it's really hard for me to get these videos done, guys. Yeah, by the way, Galactic Greg's, you can throw super chats in here now. We've got it set up for that. It is a monetized channel now. And if we keep doing live chats on Silverhead News, that'll be monetized in not too long if we keep doing enough live chats over there. Alrighty, guys. So I just need to put more content up here. I've had a hard time getting to it. I've been so busy lately. So anyway, that's it. Pete Conrad. Pete Conrad was a character, quite a character. And he flew in Gemini, he flew in Apollo, and he was the pilot, the joystick pilot for the DCX rocket. Yeah, quite a character. His wife's his widow is one of my Facebook friends. 6'2", we love you. Well, thank you all the son. I'm pretty young otherwise, hey, it's just getting brain lock. I've always got brain lock. I can't wait till I get older so I can get an excuse for this. Well, I think it is a little worse. I'm still of the opinion Starship should be redesigned so it can land like the old space shuttles. We need a runway to land that way. Yeah, you need a runway. Yeah, well, there's a lot of issues now about how it's going to land coming back to Earth, and there's a whole lot of things they've not tested out. Those grabbers to grab the booster, the whole belly flop. Actually from reentry from space. I mean, they did it just over a short hop from the ground. They've not fired all 33 engines for the main booster yet, and they've not done a full duration fire on no full set. So they got a lot of engine fire work left to do. 33 engines is tough. Reliability is inversely proportional to parts count. So that's tough. The Soviet N-1 rocket couldn't do it. I mean, it did for static fires, but when they launched it, they had acoustic effects, and those engines destroyed each other, and that thing blew up every time they launched it. So the N-1 rocket, that was supposed to be the Russians' moon rocket. I've been to that museum the Russians have in Moscow, and they've got a mock-up of their lander in there. What they intended as their lunar lander. So they actually had a lunar lander. Close to another year older. Oh, Granny. Ruh-roh. That's been another year older. I see, actually, there are 6 Raptor engines in the Starship. It's got 3 vacuum level engines, which are smaller engines like these, which are around the periphery. And it's got 3 with big nozzles, which are vacuum. Sea level engines, the small ones. There's 3 of them around. I think I said it backwards. It's got vacuum engines, have the big bells on them. They're the same thrust. Well, they put out the same power, but you get more thrust out of the vacuum level engines at higher altitude because they got more bell to push against. It gives them a higher specific impulse. I'll describe all that. I'll do a rocketry video or too long. Pete Conrad, why couldn't I think of that? It takes me a little bit longer to do. So I got there. Them neurons had to, there's little guys that run around in my head looking for the right word, and sometimes they trip over neurons. I think that's what's happening. Tripping and slipping. All right, guys. So can Starship land on the moon, full-scale Starship, without digging a crater and falling over? Zimmerman don't think so. Bob Zimmerman. He don't think it'll work. He thinks a 1/3 scale one would do it. That's what some of the analysis seemed to indicate. Now, there's 2 other competitors for the second Starship, and that is Blue Origin with Jeff Bezos, which has built something. It's got a concept looks like the original lunar lander, just much bigger. And then Dynetics. Dynetics concept kind of looks like something this way, like flying. The engines are dispersed, which has the advantage that they're not going to be boring holes in one place. I don't think it's as big, so you don't have to have as much thrust, and it's more distributed, so it's more stable. It ain't gonna flip over, and you don't have to have a crane to lower you out like you do from Starship. You just go down a ladder. It's the closest to the ground. Dynetics is the closest to the ground. Now, Dynetics is a little bit higher than Blue Origin, and when they bid last time, they were the most expensive. But I really think technically for a lander, in terms of stability, they have the superior concept. Now, full disclosure, a lot of the members of the team at Dynetics started out with me on my Halo project on high-altitude hybrid rockets. They became part of a company later called, we formed a company called HARC, High Altitude Research Corporation. And later, some of them went over to Tim Pickens' new company called Orion Propulsion, and Dynetics bought Orion Propulsion out. As the HAL 5 Halo project, we got the Guinness Book of World Records, and I won this Space Pioneer Award. What we did in that. Hang on, let me move this laptop out of the way, because the laptop has got a nice little podium it's sitting on, and that podium is a rocket motor. And this is my Cat's Prize hybrid rocket motor This is a solid fuel grain, which is hydroxyl terminated polybutadiene, which is the same solid fuel you find in military rockets, except it don't have the oxidizer in, which is ammonium perchlorate. Ammonium perchlorate is bad on groundwater, guys. A lot of places are contaminated with this stuff. We used nitrous oxide for the oxidizer, or laughing gas, something that they would have you breathe to knock you out or make you silly before you get dental work done, right? Now this motor has been fired, so it's regressed away. You had a smaller port down the center at first. This motor, now smell it, it's been fired. So that was our heart motor. That's the fuel grain. It had an oxidizer tank. The whole rocket that went in was 17.5 foot. And I've shown videos before on that. There's whole videos on this channel about that. If you look on this channel, Galactic Greg's channel, just look through the history and the videos. I got videos on our altitude liftoff program. Halo, and got a rocket from a balloon. Off we go. And our altitude research corporation, Orion Propulsion, spun out of that, and Dynetics spun out of that. Now, Blue Origin's got a lot. They're moving a lot of their work to Huntsville because there's just so many engineers here. They're moving a lot of work to Huntsville. So Huntsville will get a piece out of either one of those teams. Huntsville will do well if either team wins. Oh yeah, by the way, Sierra Nevada is planning to land their Dream Chaser at Huntsville International Airport. So how about that, guys? Greg, if you had funding and the right means, plus a team, would you catch that ride and start building your habitats? Hey, one day, I need to do my habitat on the ground first, then start going that direction. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Hey, look, guys, if I had 2 starships to use as strongbacks, where's my other starship at? Here's somewhere. Stuck it over here. The thing. Problem is the legs broke off, and the one I used to keep back there. The leg's broken, it falls over all the time now. What was I talking about? Legs breaking and things falling over? Ah, here it is. Is that an omen or what? Yeah. You see this starship? Oh, you can't see it from there. This starship, every time I put it down, it almost always falls over. Didn't that time? But this got some legs broken. It's also got some fins broken too. I'm crashing so much. This is my crashed starship. This is my good starship. But originally they were intended to be able to refuel by mounting this way. Now, if I could take 2 of them and put them this way in the atmosphere of Venus, I'd have a strong back to build my Venetian habitat in the atmosphere of Venus. This would float in the atmosphere at the right altitude. I could build my balloon city, first one, on the backs of 2 starships. Hopefully Starship 2.0, because that'd be a lot bigger than Starship 1. But I could do it with the first version, the very first version. So there you go, guys. Starships. And the Starship program excites me. I'm very interested in Starship, but I'm also worried about it because they have so many technological hurdles to jump through so fast that I think they're going to take a while longer than they anticipate getting all the bugs worked out. And even knowing what the real architecture is going to be in it, I don't think we really know what the final architecture is going to be, because a lot of things they're trying ain't going to work. And that's okay with Elon Musk. He's willing to try a lot of things and retry it until he gets something that works. Nobody else is willing to do it the way he is. And that's where he has more advantage than anybody. He don't have to get it right the first time. We spend a lot of money in other programs trying to get it right the first time, because if it don't work, it's egg on the face and you go out of business. But Elon's paying a lot of his own money, but he's kicking a lot of money from NASA. A whole lot of the money that went in developing the Starship really was the profits from doing his commercial crew and commercial cargo to the International Space Station. And so he had a lot of money from NASA to start with to do that, to develop that Dragon capsule. And now he's getting paid for the lunar lander. He's got 2 contracts on that, no less. So he's doing well for development of that lunar lander from the NASA side. Now, let's don't also love Gundam's use of O'Neill cylinders for orbital settlements. Hey, amen. Amen. I'm all about O'Neill cylinders. All right. LS420, you're a pretty cool guy. Hey, Talk about O'Neill, Gerard K. O'Neill. Let me show you something. I don't know if you've seen this one, or some of you have. Gerard K. O'Neill. Here I am with Gerard K. O'Neill in 1981 at the University of Fairbanks. No, University of Alaska Fairbanks campus. There's Gerard K. O'Neill. That's yours truly with short hair and skinny guy, no beard, because as a soldier, you couldn't have all that back in the day as a soldier, right? I did have a mustache. That's me. I still got that camera bag, by the way. You know, I couldn't wear that jacket, and I'm not quite that small now. That was me as a soldier. And that's Gerard K. O'Neill. Ed Kiker made that pin nose again. Oh, come on, camera. Come on. Focus. There we go. I'm a big fan of Gerard K. O'Neill's rotational space habitats. I like it better than Mars stuff for many reasons. And I'm on a Viking longboat. I know most of you have seen these pictures already. Maybe one or two of you hadn't. So there you go. That really happened. Oh yeah. That was for Gerard K. O'Neill. That's what you're talking about. I dream of asteroid impacts, so that's not good. That's scary. Could happen. Well, that's one of the reasons that we promote some of us going to space, so we don't have all our eggs in one basket. But also, you need to prep as much as you can if you're here on Earth. Those are not going to be easy to survive. That would be a tough situation. Hang on, I'll show you one other thing. This is one of the same kind of pin sets I gave to Gerard K. O'Neill in that meeting right there. This is North Star L5 Society, Lunar and Asteroidal Resources. And this is cut on a piece of basalt. All these holes, and it kind of reminds you of the moon or something like that, like craters. But there's also basalt on the moon, or any volcanic planet. Kind of looks like an asteroid, right? This still has a pin on it, unlike my other pin set I showed you. This one still got a pin on it. I had two of these. I think one is messed up. This is the one that's still surviving. Anyone wants to use our Constitution? China, yeah. China's an autocratic nation. If you follow me, you like freedom. If you like freedom, you'll help us fight for it. The freedomrestorationfoundation.org. Oh, my starship fell over. Yeah, the one with the broken legs. By the way, this was 3D printed for me by my friend Ben Husett, whom is an old friend from the L5 Society from many years ago. He was in the Minnesota chapter of the L5 Society. And he used to meet in a lot of the space development conferences. He made both of these for me. And he also made me a chess set of Russian and American rockets. And got stuff like that. Those, you know, you talk about Gerard K. O'Neill. L5 is one of the places. You got the Lagrange points are where the gravitational fields of one body orbit another cancel each other out. And L4 and L5 are the most stable of the two. If you got a three-body system, like the sun's part of it too, then L4 and L5 stable points are actually huge orbits around L4 and L5, kind of kidney-shaped orbits, actually. This is my little award for found in the Huntsville, Alabama L5 Society. This is the 30-year anniversary. We started in, so this thing is almost 10 years old. We started it in 1983. That's when I Conrad Dannenberg and I, and Alan Story, Ernie Gilmer, and the other guys got that group started. David, his last name starts on this. Smitherman. David Smitherman. We were some of the founders. I was the first president of the Huntsville, Alabama L5 Society. I was president like 22 years out of the group is almost 40 years old now, but I was president about 22 years of its history. So a lot of history in space activism. I was actually the chairman of the policy committee of the National Space Society for 10 years. Had huge influence on space policy. Made major changes, as I documented in my article here in this magazine. So what got me though is I appeared on I posted one of my videos from this channel on one of the Facebook groups for SpaceX. And some knucklehead who didn't know anything came in there and said, what are you accepting videos from this nobody for? You should be posting videos from these guys and these other channels. I was like, oh, really? Oh, really? Well, you're like the most ignorant person around, aren't you? These guys you're talking about ain't never been an engineer. What have they ever done besides make a YouTube video? Yeah, I do YouTube videos. I've done a lot of other things. I've designed stuff, built stuff, and done space policy. And now I'm YouTubing. Now, this is my article right here, talking about how we convinced then Senator Nelson, who's now the NASA administrator, to do both commercial and the private space stuff. I mean, both commercial and what became the Space Launch System. Basically, what I got established was a path forward to do both this stuff and Space Launch System. Because there was like a brewing civil war in Congress. It was going to be one or the other, or maybe neither, scorched earth. And I come up with a compromise concept, put it in the hands of Colonel Paul Dempfuss. And he liked it. He grabbed it just like this. I like this. He said, I'm going to take it straight to Bill Nelson. And right after that, immediately Bill Nelson adopted it. I've had Senator Vitter quote me when he was grilling Lori Garver, who was a deputy NASA administrator, who used to work as the executive director, which is our head hired person in the office of the National Space Society. I also hired George Whitesides to be an executive director of the National Space Society. He went on to become the president and CEO. Eventually, I think he was just one or the other of Virgin Galactic, and eventually stepped in. Virgin Galactic used this motor here as a daddy of the Virgin Galactic engine. Actually, it's a granddaddy because Spaceship One had the son of it, more or less. Anyway, so some knucklehead coming in. Hey, that's nobody. Yeah, right. You don't call me a nobody. Still, I got something for you. Oh yeah, and I got the D6 rocket in my backyard, and was in the Hall of Fame for the D6 rocket, and promoted space commercial stuff from way back, and the other two. I promoted both sides. Anyway, sorry guys to drag y'all through all that. Elon's Arkansas. What? Arkansas? What are you talking about? Oh yeah, we got a couple of things to share here with everything, did we? I don't mind going a little longer over here, but not too long. We got to get out of here. Don't want to go to how long we been on the air, guys, on this channel. I don't want to go too awful long. ARC. Yeah, you got an ARC in Arkansas. All right. Seems like I didn't share something. What did I not share? Have I shared anything over here? Get carried away yapping my gums. Ding, 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 ding. We're going to do some sharing. Just going to go from. Well, I don't think I've shared anything here. All right. Go to share screen. Ding, ding. Apollo 17 blasted off 50 years ago yesterday. 50 years ago today, they were on their way to the moon. Today, Artemis 1 is on its way back from the moon. It should splash down and Artemis 1. I say Orion, the space capsule Artemis 1 launched, should splash down. They say landing. Why are they talking about landing on the ocean? Weird stuff. On the 11th. And they got a unique maneuver. We'll talk about that. They got a unique maneuver they're going to do. So they're not going to come in the way they used to. They got a whole new approach. Here we go. That's Apollo 17 on the moon. And some of my friends were involved in building this lunar buggy. That's your lunar lander. You'll find one of these at the Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. We got one here in Huntsville, the Space and Rocket Center. I don't know if the Space Centers in Houston and KSC have got those or not. We actually got two at the Space and Rocket Center. Sorry, Greg, I came late. Hi, Cyborg. Well, you can always go back and watch later. Again, this is the last photograph made from the moon of astronaut and geologist Harrison Smith, Jack Harrison Smith. He is the only scientist that walked on the moon. He's still alive, guys. Gene Cernan, who was a commander, is no longer with us, but he's still alive. Oh, I don't want to show a picture because that's got a stinking artwork from one of these photographic Getty pictures or something like that. All right, here's what we was talking about earlier. This is pretty much what the Dynetics thing looks like. It's kind of like a flying bedstead. It's more stable because it's long on the ground. All right. I'm not sure if that's good to show, but this is a NASA photograph here. Always in the past, the Apollo capsule just went straight down. They were always afraid that if they weren't careful, they would skip an atmosphere and skip out and be gone. The guys would be irrecoverable. They would just hit the atmosphere at the wrong angle and go poing off into space and then never get them back. This one actually plans to skip now, but they think they can control it so that they can get the spacecraft to come in closer to land. So they don't have to go way out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on the aircraft carrier to get them. And they may still use an aircraft carrier, but they'll be a lot closer. It means the guys can get home sooner in case there's a medical condition or something like that. Helicopters even can only go so far. Helicopters use what you can land on deck of a ship with, like, they can get some planes on a carrier though. But so this gives them a lot more latitude for getting the crew closer back, the spacecraft and everything else. So this is a better control mechanism if they can make it work. They've done it with some smaller payloads after Apollo. They thought about doing this in Apollo, but they were scared to chance it. They didn't want to take a chance with it. So they're doing it now with Artemis 1. So this is one of the experiments. It's going to hit the atmosphere, boing, bounce, skip, and come back down. So that's a new innovation with the Orion capsule. They did have some problems with the electrical system. It kind of glitched out, but it came back on. Call them phantom. Some phantom problem. What is this? What's that showing in this article? Yeah. There's some people who got ideas for building a forest on Mars. And they better go back and look at my Mars habitat concept because I think it's above surface. It's not going to fare as well. It's a concept I had. And, hey, Space Channel is what we care about. We do care about things that wipe out life on Earth. It's one of the reasons we want to go to space. Is so we don't have all our eggs in one basket. Some people thought the dinosaurs were nearly extinct before the asteroid hits. And now new research shows that they were actually at their peak. The dinosaurs had never done better than right when that rock hit Earth. They were doing great. OPS, Greg, from S Quid. What? Not sure what you're saying there, Cyborg. Jeremiah, how you doing? Love you. Love, Greg. Love, I left your messages on other channel and you will see what I'm trying to read. Okay. So that's pretty much. All right, there's some other channel. Oh yeah, we were going to do space weather. That was the last thing we were going to do here tonight. So we got, right now, Mars is slipping behind the moon. Tonight, December 7th, 8th, full moon passes directly in front of Mars. I don't know if that's finished or if it's going on. If you go outside right now and you don't see Mars, then this is happening right now. Which is interesting that this would be occurring on the anniversary of the launch of Apollo 17, our last mission to the moon, with a view eventually to go to Mars. So we get kind of all in conjunction at once. A historical date and this event in the sky. That's kind of nifty. Kind of nifty. Sun's got some sunspots, guys. Sunspots start near the polar regions and work their way down toward the equator until you reach solar maximum. Then they stop and start over. Greg, what's the hype I've been hearing about terraforming Mars? Isn't Mars too small and weak? Yeah, they can set an atmosphere up on it for a time, but it's going to lose it. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but a lot of people are, because they could temporarily make Mars, they think, like Earth. Yeah, they might be like that for a while, but eventually they get lost unless they can. Now, some people think they can set up a magnetic field on Mars in some fashion and use that to keep the atmosphere and protect the atmosphere. I don't know, guys. That's a big stretch. I think it's more efficient just to build in tunnels and domes and stuff like that. Shoot, you could, gravity's only 1/3 what it is on Earth, so it should be easier to build big domes on Mars and the craters and over the Valles Marineris and places like that, over the cracks and canyons. The problem with any dome you build with 14.7 psi underneath it, you're gonna have to weight it down or it'll blast off because it'll be overpressurized. So there's only a lot of weight on it. That's one of the problems that Force Dome they show. They don't realize that thing's going to blast off in the sky. Petrified human footprints right alongside dinosaurs. Uh-oh. That explains when my patients have been kind of sassy. Oh, is that it? Lizzie may be dizzy. Guys, I found some ancient footprints myself. All right, let's look at the sun and look at the asteroids, guys, and we're going to call it a night. NOAA forecast. M-class flares 30%, X-class 10. Mid-latitudes, high latitudes. Well, that's pretty high in the mid-latitudes for those storms. War Planet, did you see that? Warman guy won the well, that's interesting. Warnock. Some people call him, I ain't gonna say it. All right, I'm not gonna talk politics on this channel. That's from other channels. All right, anything these dark reds are more concerned, but look, I don't worry about it unless it's within less than 1 liter distance. Now that's right at 1 liter distance, but this is in the past. We're down here to the 8th now. So if we go 8th forward, chances are we're not going to see anything coming in too close. Nope, we don't. Some of them way out there. Fortunately, some of the bigger ones are way out there. That's a big one. It's only 2 lunar distances away. 182 meters in diameter. That's a pretty good size. A couple football fields. All right, guys. Dinosaur-like elephants used to move stones like a bulldozer. Yeah, I saw that on the Flintstones. The mine they had. Remember that? That's where Fred and Barney and Rubble worked, right? A rock yard or a mine or something like that. Might have been car junkyard because everything was made out of stone, right? Anywho, guys, I think we're done here. Stop share. We kind of went through what was going to go through. We've spent some time on here. I've answered questions. We've chatted. Let's see, 108, huge moon number. Okay. Guys, I think it's time to call it a night. It is 2:21 here. I got to get up and work here in the morning. So with that, thank you for watching. Thank you, mods. I saw y'all been busy. So I appreciate y'all taking care of business and getting rid of those nasty sex bots that were trying to invade my room. We don't need that. Super fauna. Oh, guys. Yes, Rock Garage. Rock Garage. Did y'all? Well, I need to talk this on the other channel. This is not a Galactic Greg's topic. Anyway, remind me to talk about Greenland being really green up in northern Greenland, by the days in which you had lots of stuff growing 2 million years ago. All right, guys. Y'all take care. Remind me to talk about that next time we go live. So with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Thank